Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leo Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today, guys, we have a decent amount of news for you guys today. Not a lot. We had some few drops. We have Houston Outlaws, more Toronto Defiant, and we have Philadelphia Fusion and just Shanghai Dragons at the end of the video, and Florida Mayhem as well. So all around, we have a lot of actually really good signings coming from each team we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and jump into the first thing we got is the Houston Outlaws. They have announced the day of recording this is Crimzo has been signed to the Houston Outlaws, which has been expected for a while. Now, we knew Crimzo was going to be back in the Overwatch League. It was all depending on what team was going to be. Was it going to be Toronto Defiant before they got Aztec? Was it going to be Vancouver Titans? Was it going to be Houston Outlaws? And everyone looked at the Houston Outlaws the most, obviously because Aztec got signed to Toronto Defiant, and they kept Rolf on the Vancouver Titans as well. Going to the Houston Outlaws, gonna be great for them. You know, we had the rivalry once again with Dallas Field and Houston Outlaws. These players are going to Houston. You know, we had Rappel go to Dallas as well. So we're seeing Crimzo go to the Houston Outlaws. I'm actually really excited to see how he ends up playing on this team. He was one of the best pieces on the Dallas Field last season, and all around he was like a top 10 flex port, or at least around there in general, if you would say so or not. But Crimzo has such a great playstyle that can adapt to any passive playstyle. He can adapt to aggressive playstyle. Crimzo all around is a solid flex port player that you need to have on an Overwatch League team. He can definitely make some moves in this backline, whoever their main support will be. All around, Crimzo is going to be such a great player for the Houston Outlaws. Let's see how they build around him even more. I think Crimzo is going to fit well into the new coaching staff they have as well around that coaching staff. And you also have the potential leaked signings from Houston Outlaws as well. And it could end up being good for Crimzo to be built around. So maybe Crimzo is going to have a great season for the Houston Outlaws. I'm still not fully sold on them just yet, you know, being a top team just yet. You know, they have picked up Crimzo. They are leaked to be signing Piggy. Don't know about that one just yet. You know, they have Happy. The Narrow could still be a chance. So Houston Outlaws making some solid moves, I would say, but I don't know if I would say Houston Outlaws is a top team just yet, even signing Crimzo. I think Crimzo all around is going to be a solid flex port for this Houston Outlaws squad, and I think a lot of fans should be excited for Crimzo joining this team. It's probably the only team he could have really joined now at this point, and he's going to dominate. He's going to show that he's one of the best flex ports coming into this next season, because he definitely showed that on the Dallas Fuel last season, so I definitely think he'll show it once again on the Houston Outlaws. Now to the Toronto Defiant. They have made two signings, and they've both been correct from Outguesser, so he's kind of reliable, it looks like, for the Toronto Defiant. And the signings Toronto Defiant has made is Michelle and Heesu. They have signed Michelle, and they have signed Heesu. I think these are solid pickups. You know, KDG has coached them in the past, so you're trying to make a little bit of a KDG core, I guess you could say. You know, Michelle was on Seoul Dynasty, KDG was on Seoul Dynasty, and you have Heesu and Sato on Philadelphia Fusion, and he's bringing them out to the Toronto Defiant. And you also have Onsunjay and Aztec, so KDG is putting a great squad here. The core is, you know, the Seoul Dynasty player Michelle and the Philadelphia Fusion players Heesu and Sato. I think all around he's doing a good job here building the core that he has worked with in the past. So obviously Michelle back in Season 2, you know, coached by KDG. Michelle was fantastic in Season 2. Great off-tank player. And when it came to flexibility as well in the GOATS meta, you know, Sombra goes, he played a lot of Sombra, and he did fantastic on that. Now hero pools are in, we probably won't see him play a lot of Sombra. We'll see him stick onto the Diva, onto the Zarya, onto the Sigma. We'll see that happen more next season with Sato, and maybe he's a great fit besides Sato. You know, I'm still not sold on if he's going to be the solid fit besides Sato, because I think Fury and Pilka were great fits. You know, they fit Sato's playstyle. Will we see that with Michelle? I'm not 100% sure on that one just yet. I think Michelle's a fantastic off-tank player, but if we're really thinking about it, we have not really seen him play in a minute. We did not see him play that much this season. It was all Marvel playing Sigma. We saw 2U get a couple of games in. We saw Michelle not play as much, you know, as compared to Marvel, not compared to 2U, it almost feels like, even though he played like 1 or 2 games. But Michelle didn't really see him play last season, so it's hard to really rank on how he will play besides Sato. You know, if he has those Season 2 performances, I think Toronto's going to be fine with their tank line, but it's been a while. It's been, you know, a whole year. We haven't seen him play consistently, you know, on that roster, kind of like how Nevix was in, you know, San Francisco Shock. We didn't see him play consistently. He went to Toronto Defiant, and it was a bummer. You know, he didn't really play that well. So now you have Michelle coming in. Hopefully he's going to dominate. I think he will dominate, you know, besides Sato, with KDG on the coaching staff as well. So I think Michelle, hopefully, will fit well on this team, but I'm not sold on it just yet. Then up to the other Toronto Defiant signing is Heesu. I think Heesu's going to be an interesting fit when it comes to this team. You know, he has a lot of hit scan. He can play hit scan really well, and I definitely think there is a chance on him starting over Logix as well when it comes to the main roster. And also if they sign a flex DPS player, so they have a full Korean starting 6 on that team. You know, you have Heesu, whoever the flex DPS is going to be. You can think Rascal, you can think Libero. Then you have Sato, Michelle, Onsunjay, and Aztec. They're probably going to go for a Korean starting 6 and also keep Logix and Beast on the bench, and whenever they need them, you know, maybe in a double main tank meta, Beast comes in, maybe Arissa Reinhardt, and then you also have Heesu with Logix, and maybe that'll be good for them as well. But Heesu all around, he has potential to be a top tier hit scan. We saw that occasionally last season in the Philadelphia Fusion. He came over Carpe a couple times on certain metas, certain heroes, and I definitely think we'll see that once again with Heesu, but he's going to start mainly all the time now this next season, I feel like, and I definitely think he'll dominate, being a top hit scan player. At least I hope he does, with KDG once again coaching him, being beside Sato once again, and maybe he'll be even a top 5 hit scan, but it's hard to say that right now, before the season's even started, before the team's fully built around. I definitely think when they sign that flex DPS, we can really rank where Heesu could, be around, because, flex DPS can sometimes depend on how the hit scan player can play, but also it's a lot on the main tank as well. The main tank really depends on how your whole team plays. If you have a bad main tank, your team's not going to do so hot, but if you have a fantastic main tank like Sato, that team can change a lot. So hopefully Sato is going to fit well with Heesu. Hopefully Heesu fits well with Sato. We saw that last season, so I think it will. All around, Toronto Defiant making some solid moves. Hopefully they work out, though, because I am a bit worried. I am worried that Heesu may not be that top hit scan player for Toronto Defiant, and the same thing goes for Michelle. I am mostly worried about Michelle, though. We haven't seen him play consistently in a while. So all around, Toronto Defiant making good moves, but I am not sold on them just yet. Speaking of the Philadelphia Fusion, they have also made a move that has been leaked in the past as well. It is sHockWave being officially confirmed, and I am so excited to see sHockWave play on this roster. I hope he gets a lot more playing time on this team. I definitely think he'll get as much playing time as Heesu did. He's definitely the replacement for Heesu this next season for the Philadelphia Fusion when it comes to certain heroes, maybe some certain flexibility issues Carpe does not have. So sHockWave comes in, plays that hit scan times needed on that map, and flexes to the heroes that is needed for the game plan going into that map. So sHockWave, definitely a great replacement for Heesu. Gonna have a lot of time showing his skill on this team. He'll have a decent amount of starting time for sure. He'll come in. I think all around he does fit some holes on this team that's needed for flexibility. Maybe he'll come over EQO at some points for some projectile heroes. We saw sHockWave play a decent amount of projectile heroes last season when he got to play Echo. We saw some Genji while he was playing Echo, duplicating. So sHockWave all around, he flexes a lot in all the roles that is needed for the Philadelphia Fusion. I definitely think he'll fit well with this team. Great signing, great replacement for Heesu. Now let's move on to the Shanghai Dragons. Once again, leaked from Halo of Thoughts. I covered it before, but there's been a lot more stuff coming out of Molly. Molly has been signed with the Shanghai Dragons as a full pickup, not a two-way like it was at the start. He is now a full pickup for the Shanghai Dragons, and I am actually excited to see how this plays out. If you guys did not see, they actually did a kind of a Q&A on basic questions that they've been asked, like why is Urster signed, why is Molly signed, and a lot of good information came out. And I think the biggest information that came out is that Molly is fluent in Korean, and I think that's a huge reason why they obviously signed Molly onto the Shanghai Dragons, because he's Chinese. And, there could be some communication barriers, being the only Chinese player on a basically full Korean team, but he's actually fluent, so this is actually going to be good for the Shanghai Dragons coming in, and he'll play that flex support role, maybe going in with Izayaki sometime, a little bit of a rotation. Then you also have a double off support, which is going to be great for the Shanghai Dragons and any meta that comes up. So Molly, has potential to be a top flex support for this next team, coming in with Izayaki, maybe even being better than Izayaki, and that'll be great to see who gets that starting spot when scrims happen. Now onto the last thing is actually something pretty huge that I think is Florida Mayhem re-signing Kuki as their head coach once again for this next season. And I gotta say, Kuki really impressed me this next season. I was really worried how they were going to turn out on the Florida Mayhem. I remember being before this offseason, season 3 offseason, that I was like, I don't know if Kuki's going to do it or not. He coached Runaway. He has great results off of that now, but will he bring that through with the Florida Mayhem? He brought it through for the Florida Mayhem. Great coaching, behind the scenes. We saw some videos. He's one of those coaches that every team needs. He's very strict, and he's like, do this, or this is going to happen. Kuki does that, and we see the results that are going on through the stage. Florida Mayhem players are doing so. Kuki has been a fantastic coach for the Florida Mayhem. Proves me wrong, and I'm happy he proved me wrong. So now he's getting re-signed to the Florida Mayhem. Great move. Potential great moves in the future. There's rumors that Slime is going to be the main support, and there's also rumors that OG is going to be the new main tank, which I think is only the good replacement for this team. They have Fate gone. There's not any other main tank that I can think of that was previously on the Overwatch League, now a free agent. I can only think of OG, and if OG, once again, we're going to say it once again, is beside Gargoyle, beside, Kuki, as a great head coach, maybe we'll see OG dominate. He's also going to be on a full Korean roster, which could be good for him. No communication barriers. Even though OG has great English, maybe it'll be better for him to speak fully Korean on a full Korean team, with also Kuki signing him. Hopefully this actually works out. We said the exact same thing last time with OG, on LA Gladiators. Hopefully it works out. I'm going on a rant here, but Kuki on Florida Mayhem, good that they have re-signed him, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. Anyways, that's going to be for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below, and also join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch, and don't forget to hit that bell, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.